So let's talk about the trade deficit. How much should we be caring about it, Megan?
So this is the one place where trade really does seem to be showing up. We're starting to see it in manufacturing. We're starting to see it in farm exports. So we're seeing it bleed through. It's not hitting the consumer yet, so it's not showing up in the jobs data. But this trade data does suggest that actually tariffs are having an impact on the economy.
How much more will the tariffs yet to go into effect? Because we had some go into effect just this last Sunday, September 1, but then we've got another round coming in December 14, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's right. And so that should continue. You should continue to see our trade deficit deteriorate. Now, of course, looking at bilateral trade deficits, it's economically illiterate, right? But insofar as that's going to be a metric of success in our relationship with China, it doesn't look good.
Well, so let's be a little more literate. If you look at global trade, it's going down. I mean, it's the rate of increase is declining over time. And that is a bigger problem. And maybe the United States is contributing to that problem some.
Certainly. I think that all of this uncertainty around trade is contributing to that right now. I mean, we saw a lot of trade pulled forward as the U.S. started talking about imposing tariffs. And now we've gone ahead and imposed them. So I think that's a piece of it, but also global growth is slowing down. And we were all in the developed world growing well above potential to begin with, so we should have expected it to slow down. So that's not necessarily a warning sign, but it does suggest that growth will probably continue to slow. Along with trade.
I did want to point out that in terms of EU and U.S., because many are talking about, okay, the China-U.S. trade war, sure, but the really next shoe to drop is going to be Europe as the deadline kind of ticks down. And the goods deficit with the European Union was a record $20.1 billion in July. You saw a record all-time high in imports. That is going to give President Trump a lot of fodder when it comes to sort of throwing it back on Europe.
It is, and Germany is going to be right in those crosshairs. So things like auto and agricultural tariffs will be discussed again. There was a survey done by the National Association for Business Economists asking the membership if they expected these kinds of tariffs, and I was shocked by how bearish they actually were.
Well, we do have a deadline coming up. As you know, there was a 232 proceeding on those auto from Europe, and they extended it 180 days. That comes up November 17th. And as far as I can tell, they've made no progress in the negotiations so far.
No, I mean, USTR only has so much bandwidth. We've been pretty busy with China. There hasn't been a whole lot left over for Europe. And I do think that, you know, as we continue to see no real progress in the talks on China, Europe might be safe for a little bit. But as the election draws near, if President Trump needs to feel like he gets a win, he might actually start focusing elsewhere.